I've prepared 4 strategies for you today about how to overcome your fear of public speaking. It's actually one of the most common fears and near the top of the list for most people, public speaking. In fact, on most lists that we've compiled or looked at or researched, it comes in ahead of death in terms of what people fear. Jerry Seinfeld picked this up and he said, you know what that means is the guy giving the eulogy would rather be in the box. That's kind of funny. But you know what? It's not the fear of public speaking so much as the fear of not speaking well in public. Think about what I'm saying. You're not really afraid of speaking. You're afraid of speaking poorly. And that will give us some clues as to what you can do to overcome that fear. I want to give a big shout out right up here in the front part of this video to Dale Dixon, a friend of mine in the National Speakers Association, who wrote this book called Sweating Bullets. It's all about what we're talking about here today. If you want a little extra boost, go check out Dale's book. And he tells a story in here, kind of a parable, that helps you to wrap your head around some of the things that you can do to get on top of this fear of public speaking. And I promised you 4 strategies. Let's jump in with those. Number 1, prepare. This might sound simple. It's so crucial to overcoming your fear of public speaking that we've got to put it right up front. Preparation is what will allow you to avoid the main cause of the fear, and that's the fear of speaking poorly. The more you prepare, the less likely it is that you're going to do a bad job up there at the mic. So put in the work beforehand. Think it through. Compose and structure this presentation in a way that you feel some confidence going into it. Probably the number 1 thing that you could do to overcome your fear of speaking. Get some good preparation. Obviously, part of your preparation has to do with practice. This is strategy number 2. Put in some practice around this thing. And here's how we're going to power that up. While you're practicing, record yourself. Just get a little stand or something for your iPhone or a camera or whatever you have. It doesn't even really matter, but capture it. Get yourself in a recorded format. This is not for anyone else besides you, unless you have a coach that you're working with and you can share it with your coach. But basically, it's for you to go back and review. Warning, it's going to be awkward. It's going to be uncomfortable. People don't like seeing recordings of themselves, which is interesting to me. You know, psychologically, when we see a recording of ourselves, we don't look normal to ourselves. That's because whenever you see yourself, you're used to seeing yourself in a mirror. Well, the image in a mirror is just backwards from the way most people are used to seeing you. When you record yourself, you're going to see yourself the way other people see you. And that's not going to look normal to you. Don't worry about that. Just notice that, oh, this doesn't look normal to me because it's not what I'm used to seeing. As you watch the recording, you're also going to notice little habits or tics or idiosyncrasies that you're doing while you're presenting. You want to see this on the recording because that allows you to make the adjustments before you actually do your presentation. You're also going to be listening for what we call throwaway words or stutter words. Things like, Okay, you'll catch those little vocalizations more when you're watching the recording. And that is probably going to annoy you. It's probably going to be difficult to watch this recording. That's fine. That's why I'm giving you the heads up to it, so that you won't be afraid of actually doing it. It's one of the most powerful things that you can do to prepare. Record yourself practicing and then watch the recording and listen carefully to the words that you're using. Fear is such an interesting thing because the psychological and physiological things that you're experiencing when you describe it as fear are actually the same things that you feel when your body is preparing you to do something that's a little challenging. A friend of mine, Dr. John Skidmore, is a high-level performance coach, and John taught me this idea. He said that if you reframe the fear and call it instead activation. Ooh, do you like the sound of that? Activation. So when you feel the butterflies or the little flutters coming in, and you usually interpret that as being nervous or fearful, or you call it anxiety, let's call it activation. Your body is activating all of the systems that are necessary for you to have a successful experience at the mic. Activation is necessary for you to do a good job. In fact, we've got studies that show that there's an optimal level of activation. If it's too low, you won't step up and do a very good job. If it's too high, you'll start to get paralyzed by the anxiety. We want to be activated. Reframing that in your mind allows you to put this into a context that no longer causes the paralysis or the fear, but you can see it as your body preparing you for what's next. Consistent with what we've already talked about here, find some low-risk places and circumstances where you can practice and get some feedback. So I've already had you practicing yourself and recording that so that you can watch it. You also want to get in front of a few other people. And by low risk, I mean, pick some people who are already supportive of you, who really want you to succeed, who are willing to listen and give you some feedback about how your presentation is coming along. These might be family members or friends. It could be a roommate. It could be someone that you work with, that you're close enough friends to that you could ask them, hey, would you mind listening to this presentation that I've prepared? I just want to run it by a few people before I actually have to give it in public. This is a great way for you to not only practice, but to start getting some input from other people. Now, people who love you and they support you, they're probably going to say, oh, that was awesome. That was great. You did a great job. And you can thank them for that. Thank you. What would you suggest I do to improve it a little bit? Now you're asking for the kind of feedback that will help you to actually get to a higher level of performance. Remember, most people are not afraid of public speaking. They're afraid of speaking poorly in public. So the more you refine those skills, the less reason you're giving your own brain to experience any fear or apprehension related to the speaking. You can see how much this has to do with personal psychology. And if you haven't yet got a copy of my book, Pathological Positivity, I want you to jump on that right now. I'm going to pay for the book. You just pay for the shipping. I'll get it right out to you as soon as I can. You get to that through the link down below, drpauljenkins.com, spelled with a DR. You're going to see a big orange button when you get there. Click on that and let's get this book out to you as soon as possible.
And I wished I'd had a number so I could be color unknown. And then I tell her, look into my eyes and